Today's episode is brought to us by Terra Optima. Terra Optima provides tax-efficient real estate strategies for small to mid-sized accounting firms. With their core competency in land conservation easements, they have assisted in the conservation of over 40,000 acres in 9 states from coast to coast. Over time, they have become a proven resource to help grow the high net worth client base for firms all over the country. And they possess a wealth of resources in the conservation space, as well as tools to add to your success in assembling and presenting tax plans attractive to your clients. So whether it's to manage a personal land conservation project for your clients or to participate in a best-in-class real estate project that could have a conservation outcome, make them a part of your resource team today. They can be reached at terra-optima.com or 772-227-0322. Now, let's start the show. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast, where all accountants come to learn all the ways to grow your firm. And when you're in doubt, I am here to help you out. So if you're ready to learn and ready to grow your firm, then you're in the right place to sharpen your skills and increase your revenue. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. Our special guest is the president and founder of the American Institute of Certified Tax Planners, and she's been on the show before. With over 15 years of experience as a CPA, our special guest, Dominique Molina, has worked with many top business owners, investors using proactive tax planning to help keep more of what they earn in their pockets. Molina has also been an accomplished keynote speaker, teacher, best-selling author, and mentor to a bunch of tax professionals across the U.S. She has also written books to make many individuals and tax professionals aware of government tax breaks and loopholes that most tax professionals miss. And also, if you are an accounting professional and you're used to chasing clients, or maybe you're worrying about where that next client might come from, or you're just sick and tired of not getting paid your knowledge or worth, it's not your fault. I know that there's really no one teaching you in the accounting industry how to really fix these problems and connect the dots. So I have created a selling without ever selling system, and I'm very excited that I'm now offering a free coaching session so I can share it with you too. Let me help you get your ideal clients coming to you so you can start enrolling clients with confidence and getting paid your worth so you can spend more time with your family and your kids and kind of work a little bit less. If you've had an accounting practice for more than 2 years, head on over to theabundantcall.com and schedule your free coaching session with myself and my team. Once again, theabundantcall.com. And now I would like to take a moment and extend an invitation to you to take a screenshot of this episode at the end on your phone and post it on your LinkedIn profile. Make sure to tag me, Michelle Weinstein, and our incredible guest, Dominique Molina, and share with us what is the one thing that you're going to be able to shift with your sales process today once you hear about all the juiciness we're going to talk about. So once again, take a screenshot of this episode on your phone, post it to LinkedIn, tag me, Michelle Weinstein, and Dominique Molina, and share with us the most valuable lesson that you got from today's episode that you're going to implement in your firm today. Now, let's welcome our special guest, Dominique Molina.
Thank you for having me back, Michelle. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much for being here today with us on the Abundant Accountant Podcast. It's always an honor to have you and taking out your time out of your day to help and inspire so many other accountingpreneurs out there, maybe even the accountants and CPAs in a corporate position that might be saying, you know what, I want to start my own business. But I am so excited to talk about today's topic because we are talking about that you're like, I'm just a CPA. I'm not a salesperson or a marketer. And I love this topic because for those of you that have been listening for a while, I love the topic about sales. I like to use a different word because a lot of people think it's sleazy, pushy. manipulative and all those other fun words. But that is what we're talking about today. And I'd love to learn from you to share with everyone listening. How can a certain sales strategy really transform their firm and their CPA practices? Because they're just like you, not salespeople, not marketers. And whoever thought that when you opened your business, you actually had to do the sales role too. And, in order to help a client. So I'm very happy to have you here. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. But I have a confession to make, Michelle, because when you invited me to come on today and chat about this topic of sales, I said yes, but I was tricking you a little bit because I don't know if you're going to like some of the ideas I have to share with the group.
Well, it's okay because they've heard all of my sales stuff, and it's okay. We're going to have our non-sales sales chat that you're just a CPA, not a salesperson or marketer, and that's what we're chatting about because I hear it so many times. So it's all good.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, in my history, I actually had kind of a rude awakening about this because, and I should say, fortunately for us, if you're like me and you hate selling, I really don't like it. I don't like the sales and marketing piece. That's not why I started my own business. I love the technical. I love the numbers. I love problem solving. And yes, there's problems to solve in sales, but that's certainly not my forte. And I think fortunately for a lot of us that got into this business for the same reasons, you don't really ever have to do a lot of sales if you don't want to. And that's just because of the nature of the industry. We're working in an industry where there are 700 taxpayers for every tax professional out there. The demand outweighs the supply. And because of that, I've had to do very little marketing in the beginning of my career. People just found me either because they were referred in, which I got a lot of clients that way, or people passed by and saw my office, or who knows, they found my website online. People have a way of finding you. And so I didn't really have a problem staying busy. There's always work to be done, right? But what I quickly realized over time in the first 6 years was, gosh, I don't know that I'm getting the clients that I really want. Right. And so it wasn't until that point that I realized, I might have to do some sales and marketing here, because it's great that there's people that are finding me and I don't have a problem getting business, but is it the right kind of business? And that was a completely different way of looking at my business at the time.
Right. And having the right business is so important. So before we dive into all the nitty-gritty details, I'm just curious, what is your definition when you hear you have to do sales and marketing, right? And you're like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a marketer. I just want to do the technical and the numbers stuff because that's what I love and that's all I want to do. What's your definition of it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think of sales and marketing as two pieces of the client acquisition process. The marketing being, how do I get myself perfectly positioned in the right place at the right time to meet the right type of client for me? So where am I going to show up, whether that's in cyberspace somewhere, or where am I physically going to show up, or where is somebody going to see my message that is at the right time when they're looking or thinking about it so that they will say yes. That's the marketing piece. And then the sales piece I think about as being, once I have this lead or I have somebody that's raised their hand and said, I'm interested, what do you then do? What's the process to take them from someone who's merely interested to now they've actually paid me, I've processed their credit card, and now they are a client of mine? That's how I think about it.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think a lot of the other, accounting professionals listening can probably resonate. So with just being a CPA, Dominique, how can someone listening today really implement some sort of sales strategy if they don't have anything in their firm, but really to transform their practice?
Yeah, I mean, the first part of it is realize if you do need to go down this route, because I know there's a lot of people that are full that have thriving practices. But the first question you have to ask yourself is it thriving and full of the people that you really want to be working with? And if it's not, now you have to think of what part of sales and marketing is it going to take for you to get to where you're working with only people that are ideal for you. And so I know you're not going to like this, Michelle, but my first suggestion to the audience is, if you don't like sales and marketing, don't do it. Don't do it at all.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's talk about that, because if they don't do it, so how are they going to do that? You're in a corporate job. You want to start your own business. You want the freedom. You want the flexibility. But, as an accountingpreneur, you sort of signed up for a 24/7 sales career because, like you said, you have to get payment in order to do the work. So what has worked for you?
Yeah, well, I'm not kidding about that. If you don't want to do it. So my first suggestion is to not do it, because if you have a service that sells itself, then it cuts dramatically back on the sales efforts that are even required. Because I got to tell you, Michelle, I don't like the sleaze. I don't like the manipulation. And I'm really cautious because I don't want to feel like I'm trying to persuade anyone of anything. Yeah. And so the beauty is that when you can offer a service that's crystal clear how the person's going to win, and not just win a little bit, but home run, win in a really big way when they work with me paying premium fees. So it's a win for both of us. I want that to be so obvious to them that it's them who's asking for it from me, because that takes me out of the equation. I don't have to be the salesperson there. I don't have to be persuasive. I don't have to be perfect in what language I'm using with them or what time or how we have a conversation. When I get them asking for it and demanding it, that kind of eliminates the need for me to be good at sales, right? And so what I'm going to say here, right? I'm going to now talk about tax planning because it's my favorite thing, but this is a product or service that really does sell itself. When I can sit down and point some things out to the taxpayer and show them how to keep $100,000 more over the next 9-10 months in their bank account, even if that price tag is going to be $30,000, the win is obvious to them. And so I'm constantly asked, how can I work with you? What do I need to do to become a client of yours? Will you pick me? How can I become a client? And I love that because there's no sleaze, there's no manipulation, and I really just sit back and say, here's the process. Here's what the process looks like. And I don't have to convince anyone of anything. If I've done my job right, it's evident what they're going to get when we work together, and it's something they want.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, when something does sell itself and having really thought out what you're offering and making it a home run is the key ingredient to that. So I kind of knew what you were going to say, but I think that's
trick
just
you.
No. So for those of you listening, Dominique and I have known each other for like 8 or 9 or 10 years. I can't recall, but she does know what she's talking about in that area. So let's say they don't have something that really sells itself yet. Maybe that's part of your homework assignment today is go and figure that out, or, reach out to Dominique. Everything in the show notes below has the website. What is another thing that worked for you to really, transform your firm as it was growing, for the sales strategy part that really worked? Like another strategy that you said, this one worked and I'm glad I did it.
Well, you're going to love this answer, Michelle, because this is like the ultimate lazy person's answer, right? And that is get lazy and just get someone else to do it for you.
Yeah.
And if you can, have it be someone that really thrives in that context, right? Somebody who is excited about doing that. And you come to mind, Michelle. We've worked together a long time, but there's definitely people out there. It's more within their personality style. I know that you thrive on this.
I do thrive, and I got a waiting list. I have a lot of accountants, but I can teach you, but I can't do it all for you. But let's hear what you have.
Well, what I was going to say is, just kind of be real with yourself, because, we've known each other a long time. I'm an introverted person by nature. And yes, I do go to networking events and things of that sort, but I do so more using my willpower than my desire to do that. And so if I, on the other hand, can get somebody to go for me, somebody that's already doing this, for example, and I've got some ideas I'll share with you, but, somebody else who is good at that, who likes networking, who likes talking and meeting different kinds of people, who loves the service that we're offering, because we really, really do help people and we change lives. That's fantastic, because it's a win for both of us, so that I know it's going to get done, and I know it's going to get done right.
Yes. So that's one way, is to find someone who thrives in it. But what if, someone listening, they're like, I have clients calling me right now asking me, what do I charge? And they want to meet with me, and they literally have to sit in front of clients tomorrow. Mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. What is something that, you can share that worked from you from the CPA hat? Because I've got all sorts of stuff I can help them with, right? Which we've talked about on previous episodes. But what's a sales strategy that could really transform that client meeting if they have to deal with someone today or tomorrow, for example? And right. they can't quote unquote outsource the salesperson, or get real with yourself and not do it. You've gotten to that point where you don't have to do it. But maybe what worked for you back when you were starting out?
Yeah, I think number one, realizing that you really do need some assistance in this area. And I got to tell you, let's not kid ourselves here. Because you have a successful firm at this point and you're profitable does not mean you're necessarily where you want to be. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're skilled at getting clients. I had too many clients was my problem, too many of the wrong clients, when I really focused 100% on tax planning 15 years ago. And what I quickly found out, Michelle, was that what I said and did to get clients before I was transforming my practice didn't really work for people that were ideal for my firm. In other words, what I said and did to get clients at $800 per return, for example, didn't necessarily work for the person that would spend $80,000 on a plan, for example. And so if you are thinking, oh, I've got this because I've been in business for X number of years. At the time I had been in business for about 6 years or so when I really started focusing on the ideal client and how to get the ideal client. And I just thought, I never thought I would need any kind of coaching or training whatsoever, because I got this. I'm experienced. Right. I know what I'm doing. I got all these clients, so I don't need any help or training in sales. And what I quickly realized was, oh my gosh, actually, I don't really know what I'm doing in the client acquisition process. And it can really help to have training and coaching. So I recommend checking that out for yourself. Meet one-on-one with a coach, for example, a sales coach, or take a group class, something like that, that's going to give you some exposure to help you create sales systems in your business. Number one, so that you can try something from somebody who's an expert at it, right? It's going to help you avoid recreating the wheel there. But also just to be able to measure whether something's working or not. If I don't follow a system and I kind of quote unquote wing it every time I sit down with a new client that comes in, I really don't have any sense for what worked and what doesn't work. On the other hand, if I follow the same process every single time, I can change up one or two things at a time to see how it impacts my results. And I can say things like, gosh, when I meet with somebody remotely on camera, for example, I get a lot more new clients than when I just speak with them over the phone without the face-to-face. But really tough to understand what it is that makes a difference if I'm just kind of winging it or ad-libbing it every single time I meet with somebody new.
Yeah. And no comment on that. I think sales coaching is definitely very important for those of you that
I knew you'd like that one. I knew you'd like that one. But, if I could just say, one more thing about that too, and that is, make sure that the person that you're working with is familiar with our industry. We've got nuances that are unique to our business. We've got people that buy at certain times of year, and it's certainly easier at some times a year than others to make sales. We've got people that buy a certain way and that are used to making buying decisions a certain way. And not every sales coach out there is going to understand that. And I'll give you an example. I've worked with a lot of different trainers in the past, Michelle, and I want that person to be a reflection of the values that I have in my firm, because I'm relying on them to train me how to represent my firm. And if my values are not things like being pushy and being manipulative to get somebody just to say yes, well, what do I think they're going to teach me? They're going to definitely be teaching me some tactics based on their vision and values. So you want to look for alignment there.
So maybe not someone like that teaches the people that sell at car dealerships?
Yeah, exactly. And so you want to get a feel for that person's values. I'll tell you what's really worked well for me, and that is in working with people where the number one priority to them was their client's success. And that's worked out especially well for me because that's the number one priority in my firm, is results that we're able to create for our clients and help our clients create. And so in working with a coach or a training program that also has similar values, it's more likely to work because it fits within our natural wheelhouse. And it's something I'm much more likely to do. So you want to look for somebody that has familiarity over our industry and somebody that also reflects similar values to your brand personality.
Yep. And those are all very, very important. And that will help, get you results, because I believe in that personally. So what is one last thing that you would suggest for someone who, is dealing with that dreaded question, how much are you going to charge? I need to meet with you. I heard about you from Chris down the block. But something else that, someone listening can really implement today in their sales strategy of their firms and really transform it, that would be impactful.
Yeah, I wish there was a silver, kind of this silver bullet strategy that if you just do this, everything will work out. But if I had to come down to one really key element there, I think it goes back to what we were talking about at the start of this conversation, Michelle, and that is, knowing the difference. What is sales and what is marketing to your firm? And one of the things I shared with you is, on the sales side, it's a process by which we take somebody from being interested in our service all the way to the point where they are a client, provided that's the right for them, right? And that they're right for our firm. So it's really identifying what that process is and plotting that out. If somebody's calling in and you have someone else answering phones, for example, do they know what the process is, or are they winging it? And are you counting on them to wing it? And I don't want to do sales. Hopefully the receptionist has got it over there,
Right.
So
I know.
Really recognizing all those little touch points, whether it's a client referral or expressing interest or a phone call that may may come in or somebody dropping by, we want to have a plan for what do you do in those moments. And if it's not you who's handling those interactions, have your staff trained on what that next step is.
Yeah, no, and having like not winging it, I think is, a big takeaway from today, and really plotting out a sales process. Even if you plot out something, it's going to be better than maybe just winging it 100% if that's currently what's happening, because, you're just a CPA, right? Not a salesperson or a marketer. So, thank you so much, Dominique, for being here with us today. Do you have any last words of wisdom or advice as it relates to, just being the CPA and absolutely not enjoying the sales process because you're not a salesperson or a marketer?
Yeah, I think the way that we perceive ourselves in that situation, I don't have to be a salesperson to do well. And thank goodness I'm a way better tax planner than I am salesperson, because I can do a lot of good for my clients. And when I follow a plan and I know what my next steps are, it takes away some of that anxiety for me. So that when those questions like how much do you charge, when those questions come in, I don't have this sheer terror that comes over and paralyzes me. I'm able to handle those conversations with confidence. And if nothing else, that just makes things a lot more pleasant for me.
Yeah, no. And I think, like you said, just coming up with some sort of process and following a plan, it will help you in many ways. So thank you so much, Dominique, for being here with us today on the Abundant Accountant podcast. It's always an honor to have you.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. It's been a lot of fun, Michelle.
It's always fun talking about sales. More next time on the next show, and Dominique will be back in the future. Thanks for being here.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you all so much for being here with Dominique and I today on another amazing episode with her as our special guest, talking all about, my favorite topic, which is sales, and understanding that you are a CPA, but you're more than that, especially if you own your own firm, and that not being the salesperson, the marketer is okay. And remembering that you can put one or two of these things into action today that Dominique shared, right? So what about maybe creating a product that sells itself as an alternative to what you're doing right now, if what you're doing right now isn't working? Or maybe doing what she says the ultimate lazy person does, right? And that's just hire it out. Or maybe, work with me. Or also, like she said, buckle down and get trained and just do it. Because that's one of the best ways to do it. And I've been able to help many accountants really buckle down and shift and actually enjoy the sales process. I have so many accountants that I've worked with that have gotten the confidence and everything else as it relates to never winging it, having a sales process. And if you would like, I am going to do a special free coaching session where I share the information on what I've created called the Selling Without Ever Selling system. It will really help you get your ideal clients, really help you think outside the box to create a service that sells itself, and really be able to have the confidence to have any sales conversation that comes your way. So if you have had an accounting practice for more than 2 years, feel free to go over to theabundantcall.com and schedule your coaching session with myself and my team. Once again, head on over to theabundantcall.com if you're ready to buckle down and work on it for yourself. I just want to give a special thanks to our sponsor for today's show. Make sure to check them out, Terra Optima. They provide tax-efficient real estate strategies for small to mid-sized accounting firms with their core competency in land conservation easements. They have assisted the conservation of over 40,000 acres in 9 states from coast to coast. They have a wealth of resources in the conservation space, as well as tools to add to your success in assembling and presenting tax plans attractive to your clients. So whether it's to manage a personal land conservation project for your client or to participate in a best-in-class real estate project that could have a conservation outcome, make sure to make them part of your resource team today. To find out more, head on over to terra-optima.com or give them a buzz, 772-227-0322. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.